So today is December 2nd, 2024, and we have got a lot to get caught up on. We're hearing about nuclear warnings to the United States. In addition to that, an assortment of news. I'm going to be covering the latest for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see exactly what is going on. Now, I'm going to be covering several different topics. First up, Russia and China issues an update after nuclear bombers patrolled near U.S. allies. As we're hearing that in the Pacific over the weekend, nuclear bombers were in the air in the Pacific. This caused a lot of concern, and this comes, as I just shared with you, nuclear bomb map shows impact of Russian weapons of major U.S. cities. I went into detail in various cities they are saying to watch out for, and this comes as we just received a warning from FEMA, the U.S. government. U.S. Nuclear Attack Survival Guide has now been issued, and they're saying 15 minutes is enough time to save your life potentially. They released an updated guide on potential nuclear attacks. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to be covering several other topics in this live stream as well, and let me know if you prefer this. I'm going to cover a lot of different topics. There's just so many different things going on. I'm going to cover several of them, and then later on, I'll break them up and release them into separate videos so you can see the specific ones. But here's also what is going on today. Biden has now pardoned his son Hunter, despite previous pledges not to. And take a look at this. Donald Trump now is suggesting that he will free the January 6 rioters in response to Biden-Hunter's pardon. Let them out. Let me know. Do you think that Trump should pardon those that were arrested for January 6th, or do you think no, he should not? Let me know in the comments. Yes, if he should pardon them. No, if he shouldn't. We're hearing that Hunter Biden has just been pardoned by his father, Joe Biden. In addition to that, we're also hearing that Trump's decision to tap Kash Patel for FBI director sends shockwaves throughout Washington. We're hearing that FBI Director Wray, he will no longer be the head of the FBI. Donald Trump is now going to be assigning Kash Patel. He will be changing out that position. In addition to that, we had heard that there was a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. Well, we're hearing that Hezbollah claims its first attack against Israel's positioning since the start of the truce. We are hearing that this ceasefire, it might be already over as soon as it started. And in addition to that, accusations back and forth, the U.S. has said to warn Israel that it is violating ceasefires in Lebanon. Hezbollah singling out drone flights over Beirut. So a lot unfolding. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you like this? That I'm going to be covering several topics for you in this live stream. If so, drop a 1. If no, put a 2. I typically try to do one topic, but I just feel like there is so much going on right now. I'm going to try something different, and that is we're going to go through all of these articles, get you caught up on the latest information coming out in this live stream, and then what I'm going to do is afterwards in the video section, I'll go ahead and break these up, and you can watch individual ones if you'd prefer. If you like that, put a 1. If you don't like that, put a 2, but we're just going to do a live stream covering all the various topics so you can get caught up on all the latest news that is happening right now so you know exactly what is taking place. And again, if you appreciate that, do me a favor, take a second, hit that like button for me, and also subscribe to stay up to date if this is your first time here. And as always, all of these articles that I'm going to be referencing, they're going to be linked in the description below so that way you can see them for yourself. I always like to make sure that I hold myself accountable to the community, cite all the sources just like a book report so that way you know that it is the latest. You can see the sources, where they're all coming from, and rest assured what is taking place. So let's go ahead and get right to it. And also, I see that there Jesus is my rock is in there. I see all the ones coming in from Brooklyn, William, Josh, and a lot of people saying that they appreciate. Let's cover all the updates. Awesome. Okay, we'll see how this goes. This is my first time trying this, and then maybe this might be a new way that we're going to go ahead and start reporting, but we will see. And I see people saying drop those likes, and yes, I appreciate that. I see we've got 1,900 people with me live, 363 likes. We get those up, help spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. All right, so first up, let's take a look at this article cited down in the description coming out from Newsweek. This article came out this morning with an update as to what unfolded over the weekend as Russia and China have issued updates after nuclear bomb patrol near U.S. allies. So we are hearing that nuclear bombers were in the air in the Pacific this weekend, causing a lot of alarm. China has now claimed that it and Russia did not target any third party while their nuclear-capable bombers patrolled near the allies of the United States in the Western Pacific Ocean. According to the Defense Ministry in Japan, the joint Russia-China air patrols were carried out on Friday over the Sea of Japan, also known as the East Sea in South Korea, as well as over the East China Sea and the waters east of the so-called First Island chain on Saturday. The Chinese Defense Ministry confirmed the flights, saying they were part of an annual cooperation plan with the Russian military. The mission did not target any third party and had nothing to do with the current international and regional situation, Beijing added. So let me know your thoughts, though. This causing a lot of alarm right now with everything we've got going on. These drills, they cause a lot of concern. Having actual nuclear bombers running drills in the Pacific from China and Russia. And also, we have heard that if there were to be attacks against the United States, it would likely be those states that border the Pacific. So we are on the watch for Alaska. There's been a lot of talk about Russia taking Alaska, trying to take that back. Hawaii, California, Nevada, Washington, all of those states bordering the Pacific are the ones that are of concern. And Alaska primarily has gotten a lot of attention recently. And I actually just shared with you in that nuclear warning we received from the U.S. government, they said that if you're in the state of Hawaii, not very likely. You have the worst chance of survival if you are in the state of Hawaii. Now, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed that aircrafts involved in the joint patrol missions, including bombers and fighter jets, did not violate the airspace of foreign countries as they acted strictly in line with provisions of internal law when performing the flight missions. This two-phase mission was the 9th Joint Strategic Aerial Patrol conducted by China and Russia since 2019, the Chinese Defense Ministry said. In the previous instance, in late July, the Russian and Chinese bombers transited over the Bering Sea of the U.S. coast of Alaska. Now, while Tokyo said neither Russia nor China violated its airspace, it denounced them for conducting a show of force against Japan that was a major concern for safety and security. Newsweek emailed the Defense Ministry in Moscow and Beijing for comments. The Sea of Japan, or the East Sea, separates the Japanese archipelago to the east and the Korean peninsula to the west, lying between America's treaty allies of Japan and South Korea. On Friday, South Koreans, they scrambled their jet fighters to intercept the joint patrol. So even though they're saying that this was essentially a typical drill, we're hearing that South Korea was scrambling to make sure that they could intercept what was going on. And here you can see the flight paths of these. You can see Japan's air defense zone, South Korea's, Taiwan, the Philippines, those border areas. Japanese fighter jets were deployed for 2 consecutive days to prevent airspace violations. Strategic aircraft of Russia and China were accompanied in their air patrol mission by foreign fighters on individual route segments, said Moscow, referring to the bombers. Meanwhile, the First Island chain, which extends southward from Japan to the Philippines via Taiwan, is one of 3 layers of U.S. defense concepts that would constrain the Chinese military's naval and air activity in wartime by using allied or friendly territories, Newsweek said. Now, the Russian and Chinese aircraft transit over the 2 major waterways around Japan during the patrol, including the Tsushima Strait between the country and South Korea and the Miyako Strait in Japan's southwest islands, forming part of the first chain of islands. According to reports prepared by the Japanese military, Russia and China deployed 2 of their bombers, the Tu-95 and the H-6, respectively, for the 2-day Joint Strategic Air Patrol, as well as supporting fighter jets, spy planes, and an aerial refueling aircraft. The Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that the Tu-95MS bombers they were assigned for the mission, which saw them landing and taking off from an airfield in China. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientific says the Tu-95MS can carry up to 14 nuclear-armed cruise missiles. So again, the major concern is that these are nuclear-capable bombers that were flying in the Pacific. However, Russia and China at this time, they are saying that it is just a drill. However, as you can see from the article, they were saying that South Korea was scrambling at the news of this, very concerning and alarming to them, as well. Now, the Chinese media claimed that it was the first time in the country's Air Force that they had deployed an H-6N bomber for patrols with Russian aircrafts. According to the Pentagon, the H-6N is China's first nuclear bomber capable of receiving fuel in flight. So again, nuclear bombers in the air, very concerning as this was taking place in the Pacific over the weekend, yet China and Russia claiming this is just ordinary drills. Let me know your thoughts. Do you trust Russia and China? Yes or no? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, during the second day of the joint patrol, the Chinese Y-20 aerial refueling aircraft was seen providing fuel to a J-16 fighter jet. According to a photo taken by the Japanese Air Force, the Chinese fighter jets were spotted arming with missiles as they escorted the bomber as well. So they've got these jets that are accompanying this nuclear-capable bomber over the Pacific. Very concerning. Russia and China saying no need to worry, just typical drills. Yet again, there is a lot of tensions taking place, and I just shared with you over the weekend that we received an update from the U.S. government, from FEMA, saying nuclear bombs, here is what they would look like if Russia were to unleash their most powerful Satan nuclear warheads. I believe it's called Satan or Satan 2. I can't remember the actual names and acronyms that they use, but I covered these maps for you in detail in a previous live stream, and it was pretty shocking, the impacts. And I covered each one for you. Now, just a quick recap. This is Washington, D.C. They are saying that if it were to hit in the heart of D.C., this inner yellow circle is where the fireball would be, and this is where you would see the mushroom cloud come up. Now, in the gray area, everyone in this area would be lit on fire and would be blinded, and this would be pretty much almost close to instant death as well. Everybody out in this outer yellow circle right here, this is the third-degree burns from radiation that would take place and would cause a lot of devastation. We're also hearing that around this range as well, I believe the inner gray circle, the streets would be so hot that they would turn to magma lava. And then out here in this outer gray zone, you will survive. You might receive some exposure to radiation, and all the windows and all the buildings would shatter, which could cause danger to people as glass would be flying everywhere. So this is the extent of it, and it covers several square miles. They cover each one and the amount of people that would be impacted. Now, I covered this for you. This was Washington, D.C. They released specific maps on this. Also, New York. You can see here how far it would reach out. Here is one for Los Angeles, and you can see that this reaches all the way out to Thousand Oaks if it were to hit the downtown Los Angeles area. Chicago as well. Houston, Texas, where I live, and I am right in the area that I would essentially be vaporized because I'm right in the center of the city. It reaches all the way out to the Gulf Coast. Phoenix, Arizona, you can see pretty much engulfs the entire city of Phoenix. We also have Philadelphia. You can see the extent of this. So they are saying you've got about 15 minutes to try to get out of there before it could be life-threatening and ending, and you are essentially vaporized, they're saying. And here's another one for San Antonio. You can see San Antonio pretty much would be just engulfed and wiped out. And San Diego as well. And we also have Dallas. I believe Dallas was the last one that was mapped. Now, this does not encompass the entire list of all the cities that they have said are on the watch list for potential nuclear attack if we run into a conflict with Russia. However, these are just the ones that they've covered in detail, and you can see that here in Dallas, they're saying that if this particular nuclear bomb from Russia, an incredibly powerful ICBM with nuclear warhead capabilities, were to hit, it would reach all the way out and be felt to Fort Worth if they hit the center of Dallas. Now, this comes, as I mentioned, if you have not looked it up yet, go ahead and find it. I have it linked in that previous live stream. U.S. Nuclear Attack Survival Guide has issued a 15-minute warning. 15 minutes is enough time to potentially save your life. The U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, has issued a nuclear attack survival guide warning that 15 minutes is enough time to save your life. So they're saying be sure to read through the guide, see what steps they say to take take action. A lot of people saying stock up on supplies now, as we are hearing that other nations are doing this as well. I believe it was Switzerland, Norway, Finland, if I remember quite correctly. Maybe it was Sweden, I can't remember. Several of them releasing pamphlets out to their citizens saying prepare for nuclear war. We're hearing that in Germany, they're preparing to release 800,000 NATO troops to go to Ukraine to fight against Russia. Things are escalating. However, we're hearing that Russia and Ukraine right now are open to a ceasefire agreement. They're hoping that Donald Trump will be the one that will be able to broker that. But we will see, because Russia is saying that they want to take the territory that they have managed to occupy at this time. Ukraine is saying they're willing to do that if they're going to be given approval to enter into NATO. And Ukraine's saying, if not NATO, then nukes. We either need NATO or nukes. You decide, but we need some form of reassurance that we will no longer feel this threat from Russia anymore. And so we're hearing that Joe Biden, a lot of controversy raised recently as Joe Biden said, hey, maybe we should take into consideration nuclear weapons. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And do me a favor, I see we've got 2,700 people with me live. Hit the like button if you appreciate the updates. Subscribe to stay up to date. But a lot taking place right now with conflict involving nuclear weapons. We have heard it said that we have never been this close to World War III as we are right now. And we've actually heard Vladimir Putin saying the conflict in Ukraine, it is becoming global. And we've heard former defense ministers of Ukraine saying this is World War III right now. It started in 2022. We're in the middle of it. It just has not been officially declared. We've heard other nations say this is World War III. Now, the United States has not officially declared that we are in World War III, but a lot of people are saying in previous world wars, it wasn't even announced. It was just major conflicts taking place globally, and then after it was all said and done, then in the history books, they said, oh, it was a world war. So they're saying World War III might be taking place right now at this very time. If you agree with that, let me know your comments in the comments. Drop a 3 if you think we're in World War III right now. Drop a 4 if you think no, we're not. And we might be able to get out of this. We might be able to avoid it. As we are hearing that Donald Trump is saying that he is going to be brokering a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. Now, also, as I mentioned, in a second here, we're going to be talking about Israel and Hezbollah, as we had heard that a ceasefire was drawn up. However, we're hearing it's already been violated just in a matter of days after it being assembled. Now, we're going to get to that in just a second here, but take a look at this with me. We are hearing Biden has pardoned his son Hunter despite previous pledges not to. Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, take a look at this article coming out. You can see December the 2nd, just this morning. President Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter, sparing the younger Biden as from possible prison sentences for federal felonies, for having arms, tax convictions, and reversing a past promise not to use his extraordinary power of the presidency for the benefit of his family. The Democratic president had previously said that he would not pardon his son or commute his sentence after convictions in the 2 cases in Delaware and in California. The move on Sunday night, yesterday, comes weeks before Hunter Biden was set to receive his punishment after his trial conviction in the case and the guilty plea on tax charges in the arms case, and less than 2 months before President-elect Donald Trump is set to return to the White House. It caps a long-running legal saga for the younger Biden, who publicly disclosed that he was under federal investigation in December of 2020, a month after his father's 2020 victory, and casts a pall over the elder Biden's legacy. Biden, who time and again pledged to the Americans that he would restore norms and respect for the rule of law after Trump's first term in office, ultimately used his position to help his son, breaking his public pledge to Americans that he would do no such thing. Now, in a statement released Sunday after Biden said, "I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has inflicted this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. The president's sweeping pardon covers not just the arms and the tax offenses against the younger Biden, but also any other offenses against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part of during the period from January 1st of 2014 through December 1st of 2024. So pardoning him for the past decade. Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, in June, Biden categorically ruled out a pardon or communication for his son, or commutations for his son, telling reporters as his son faced trial in the Delaware arms case, "I abide by the jury's decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him," he said. As recent as November the 8th, days after Trump's victory, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre ruled out a pardon or clemency for the younger Biden, saying, "We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no. The elder Biden has publicly stood by his only living son as Hunter's descended into serious addictions and threw his family's life into turmoil before getting back on track in recent years. The president's political rival has long used Hunter Biden's myriad mistakes as a political cudgel against his father. In one hearing, lawmakers displayed photos of the president's son with an assortment of things that I can't say on YouTube. House Republicans also sought to use the younger Biden's years of questionable overseas business ventures in a since-abandoned attempt to impeach his father, who has long denied involvement in his son's dealings or benefiting from them in any way. Now, the charges in his case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election, Biden said in a statement. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision, Biden said, claiming he made a decision this weekend. The president had spent the Thanksgiving holiday in Nantucket, Massachusetts, with Hunter and his family, and departed for Angola later Sunday on what may be his last foreign trip as president before leaving office on January 20th of 2025. Hunter Biden was convicted in June in Delaware's federal court of 3 felonies for purchasing arms in 2018, prosecutors said. He lied on a federal form by claiming that he was not illegally using any forms of substances. He had been set to stand trial in September in California's case accusing him of failing to pay at least $1.4 million in taxes, but he agreed to plead guilty to misdemeanors and felony charges in a surprise move hours after jury selection was set to begin. David Wise, the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware who negotiated the plea deal, was subsequently named as special counsel by Attorney General Merrick Garland to have more autonomy over the prosecution of the president's son. Hunter Biden said that he was pleading guilty in that case to spare his family more pain and embarrassment after the arms trial aired salacious details about his struggles with various addictions. Now, the tax charges carrying up to 17 years behind bars and the gun charges are punishable by up to 25 years in prison, though federal sentencing guidelines were expected to call for the far less time, and it was possible that he would avoid prison time entirely. Hunter Biden was supposed to be sentenced this month in the 2 federal cases, which the special counsel brought after a plea deal with prosecutors that likely would have spared him prison time fell apart under scrutiny by the judge. Under the original deal, Hunter was supposed to plead guilty to misdemeanor tax offenses and would have avoided prosecution in the arms cases as long as he stayed out of trouble for 2 years. But the plea hearing quickly unraveled last year when the judge raised concerns about the unusual aspects of the deal. The younger Biden was subsequently indicted in the 2 cases. Hunter Biden's legal team this weekend released a 52-page white paper titled "The Political Prosecutions of Hunter Biden," describing the president's son as a surrogate to attack and injure his father, both as a candidate in 2020 and later as the president. The younger Biden's lawyers have long argued that prosecutors bow to the political pressure to indict the president's son amid heavy criticism by Trump and other Republicans of what they called the sweetheart plea deal. So there you have it, you guys. We are hearing that he was under a lot of pressure and that Joe Biden pardoned his son despite saying that he would not do it. So we are hearing that he has pardoned him. Now, again, let me know your thoughts. Articles coming out like this. Trump is now suggesting that he will free the January 6th individuals in response to Biden-Hunter's pardon. Should he do this? If you think so, put a yes in the comments. If you think no, put a no. But we're hearing that Trump is suggesting all those from January 6th that have been incarcerated might be released. This coming out yesterday as well. Take a look at this. Donald Trump signaled Sunday night that he intends to use Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter to his own advantage, linking it to his own prospect controversial pardon of January 6 defendants. Does the pardon given by Joe Biden to Hunter include the J6 hostages who have now been in prison for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice, Trump wrote in his first public comment since Biden announced the pardon on Sunday. That came not long after Fox News commentator Charlie Hurt made the linkage. I think he should at least commute the sentence of all of them and pardon every single one that is obviously just following the person in front of them wandering through the Capitol, he said. And I'm seeing lots of yeses pouring in saying yes, they think that Trump should do this pardon. I'm seeing a couple of no's, though. Pardon every single one of them. There were some that did more than just that, and I think that he should commute their sentences and let them all out. Every single one of them, he said. According to the Justice Department, 140 police officers were assaulted during the attacks on the Capitol, including 80 U.S. Capitol police officers and 60 from D.C. Metropolitan Police Departments. Trump repeatedly floated the idea of a pardon himself during his campaign, His new choice to lead the FBI, Kash Patel, has also taken up the cause of January 6 defendants. He also played Justice for All, a rendition of the national anthem as sung by January 6 defendants at campaign rallies. More than 1,200 people have been charged on January 6 related charges. Many battled with police officers. Others got charged with interfering with an official proceeding on a day that Congress met to certify the electoral votes that made Joe Biden the president. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. We will see if this unfolds. We are seeing that Hunter Biden has been pardoned. We'll be seeing if other members of the January 6th involvement will be pardoned as well. Now, in addition to that, we're also hearing that Trump's decision to tap Kash Patel for the FBI director instead of FBI Director Wray is sending shockwaves throughout Washington. Now, the article says President-elect Donald Trump announced Saturday that he intends to nominate Kash Patel as FBI director. This sent shockwaves throughout Washington over the weekend, prompting outrage from Democrats and even some former Trump officials, while some loyalists insist they believe that Patel would be confirmed by the Senate. Patel, a 44-year-old who served in the intelligence and defense roles in Trump's first term, is a controversial figure even within Trump's world, and a former U.S. official described him as by far the most dangerous pick that Trump has made so far. There is no there to him, the official told CBS News. He'll literally do anything. John Bolton, who served as national security advisor in Trump's first term and was Patel's boss, compared the nomination to Joseph Stalin's secret police chief. Fortunately, the FBI is not Stalin's secret police chief, Bolton said. The Senate should reject this nomination 100-0. Wow. Now, in response to Bolton's comments, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted on social media that John Bolton has been wrong about everything, so I guess Kash must be pretty awesome. In addition to objections about Patel at the helm of the FBI, current FBI Director Christopher Wray's 10-year term is not due to end until 2027. For Patel to become FBI Director, Wray would have to resign or be fired by Trump, and Patel would need to be confirmed by the Senate. Republicans are set to hold a 53-47 majority come January, giving incoming Majority Leader John Thune only a few votes to lose. Wow. So they've got to work with 7 Democrats across the aisle to get this approved, to get the 60 votes, to get Patel in as the new FBI director. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is a good move? Have you been happy with the way that FBI Director Wray has been handling things? Let me know your thoughts. I've heard a lot of people say that he's been giving a lot of warnings, but people wondering, what is he actually doing? Why is it that we've got all these warnings about potential attacks against the United States, yet nothing ever coming to fruition for taking a next step to help us get our nation more secure? However, we are hearing that a lot of potential sleeper cell groups have been thwarted that have been trying to cause attacks in the U.S. So let me know, have you been happy with FBI Director Wray? If so, put a yes. If you think he's got to go, put a no. And we're hearing that Donald Trump is saying it's time for him to go, and he wants to get Kash Patel in there soon. Trump called Patel a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and America First fighter who has spent his career exposing corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people, he said in a post on social media on Saturday. Joe Biden, F. Joe Biden, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hunter is not pardoned for state or international crimes. That said, Trump needs to make an example out of someone in the power structure, he says. Thank you for that, F. Joe Biden. $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that pardon. And we're hearing that Trump might actually be coming out and saying that he's going to pardon people in January 6th that have been incarcerated. We will see. Now, reading on, it says, I gotta say, all of the weeping and gnashing of teeth, all of the people pulling out their hair are exactly the people who are dismayed about having a real reformer come into the FBI and clean out the corrupt partisans who sadly have burrowed into the senior career positions at the FBI, Cruz said on Sunday on Face the Nation with Margaret Brannon. Now, Senator Bill Hagerty, a Tennessee Republican, said on NBC Meet the Press that he encouraged President Trump to bring Kash Patel to the table, saying Patel represents the type of change that we need to see in the FBI. Other Republicans, like Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, took a more cautious approach. Rounds expressed support for Wray, who was nominated by Trump in his first term in 2017. I think the president's has picked a very good man to be the director of the FBI when he did that in his first term, Rounds said on ABC this week. I don't have any complaints about the way that he's done his job right now. Meanwhile, Democrats were highly critical of the pick. Senator Christopher Murphy of Connecticut said on NBC that he will vote no, expressing concern that Patel is going to only care about protecting Republicans. And Murphy pledged to help his colleagues and the American public understand what's happening here. Donald Trump told the American public during the campaign that he was going to turn the Department of Justice into a political operation and arm the White House to destroy his political opponents, Murphy said. Kash Patel's only qualification is because he agrees with Donald Trump that the Department of Justice should serve to punish, lock up, and intimidate Donald Trump's political opponents. And so the cost to the American public is pretty simple, he said. Now, in recent weeks, Trump's most controversial selection for the top posts in his administration have faced intense scrutiny as they prepare for the Senate confirmation process. And one pick, former Representative Matt Gaetz, already has withdrawn his name from consideration, facing headwinds in the Senate. Senator Dick Durbin, the current majority whip in the upper chamber, urged his Senate colleagues in a statement to reject Trump's pick of Patel, noting that we already have a FBI director, and accusing the president-elect of wanting to replace his own appointee with an unqualified loyalist. The Senate should reject this unprecedented effort to weaponize the FBI for the campaign of retribution that Donald Trump has promised, Durbin said. Wow, so like the headline says, shockwaves being sent throughout Congress as Trump's decision to select Kash Patel for the FBI director to replace current FBI director Christopher Wray, who has been warning us about attacks that could come on U.S. soil. Now, we did hear recently that there was brokered a peace agreement, a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, and we're hearing that this has already potentially come to an end. It has been violated, we're hearing time and time again. Take a look at this. Coming out from Barron's, you can see this morning, December the 2nd, Hezbollah claims first attack against Israeli position since the start of the truce. Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, they have claimed an attack on an Israeli position on Monday today, the first time that it has been done since the truce went into effect last week. In a statement, the Iran-backed group said that it had targeted an Israeli position in the occupied hills of Kfar Shaba, which Lebanon claims as a part of its territory. And that is all the information we have just coming out this morning, the breaking news that we're hearing that this ceasefire agreement has been broken. So all that we've been seeing going on with Israel and Hezbollah, the conflict in the Middle East, which we're hearing is escalating, things going on with Iran, we're hearing that the ceasefire that appeared to be progress in the right direction of ending things, well, that has been broken. Also, we're hearing that the U.S. has been said to have been warning Israel that it has been violating ceasefires in Lebanon, singling out drone flights in Beirut as well. This coming out today as well. It says the U.S. has warned Israel that it is violating parts of the ceasefire deal with Lebanon, Hebrew media reports. U.S. Special Envoy Amos Hochstein reportedly sent a message urging Israel to uphold the agreement. In particular, he cited Israeli drone flights over Beirut. Hebrew media cited Israeli sources as saying the Prime Minister's office declined to comment. Now, it comes a day after Hebrew media outlets reported that, according to French diplomatic sources, France has accused Israel of 52 ceasefire violations. The source claimed that although Israel was acting against Hezbollah's own violations, the IDF did not go through the proper channels to report the Lebanese group's transgressions to the U.S.-led international oversight body, of which France is a member, as required by the terms of the agreement. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a statement yesterday that Israel was very resolutely enforcing the ceasefire agreement, and every violation is immediately being met with an intense reaction by the IDF. He vowed that this would continue. So, man, there you have it, you guys. We are hearing that what was looking like a ceasefire agreement, a peace deal between Israel and Hezbollah, has been violated at least 52 times. They're saying, Israel saying they're responding to all the violations. And this morning, Hezbollah coming out and saying, yes, we did an attack against Israel. So it looks like the peace agreements, the ceasefires, didn't last very long. It looks like it is off. And also, we have got not just Hezbollah, but Israel is fighting Hamas, the Houthis, the nation of Iran itself, which backs and funds all of these various proxy groups that are attacking Israel. So it looks like the conflict in the Middle East, it is still going on. There is no peace in the Middle East at this time. And along with that, as I mentioned, we also have conflicts taking place with Russia and China as well. The headlines once again for you: Russia and China issue updates of nuclear bombers patrolling near U.S. allies in the Pacific. This comes as I shared with you various cities maps that were released, as we had heard that there could be nuclear detonations from Russia on U.S. cities. Here is what they would look like. They've mapped these out for you so you could see how far the blast zone would be, how much people would be impacted, affected, how far it would go. This is Dallas, but they've released maps of several cities. Here's San Diego, San Antonio, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Houston, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. Covered these for you in detail in a previous live stream. And we also saw FEMA release an updated warning for U.S. citizens of what to do should there be a nuclear fallout. And they're saying you'll have 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is enough to save your life, to try to make decisions, try to get out of the blast zones. Also, we heard that today Biden is pardoning his son Hunter, despite his previous pledge not to. And some are saying that now Trump is suggesting that he will pardon the January 6th individuals since Biden has decided to pardon Hunter. And Trump has also picked Kash Patel as his FBI director, which has sent shockwaves through Congress. And also we are hearing the ceasefire agreements between Israel and Hezbollah. They have likely come to an end as violations are taking place all over. So that is some of the latest news. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you like this format where I'm just kind of covering all of the topics for you? If so, put a 1. If no, put a 2. I typically try to just stick to one topic and go in depth into that. But now I'm thinking there's just so much news going on. I might just cover them all in a live stream, and then after this, break it up into videos and drop them on the video section. If you like this format where I give you all the latest news just in one live stream, drop a 1. If you think no, I prefer it where it's just one topic that you go deep on, put a 2. Let me know your thoughts. But it's just getting to be so much news right now. There's so much taking place. It's kind of difficult to capture everything and do so many live streams all in one day. So I might even just pick a time of day that works for everybody, where we can just go on and just cover all of the news, all the headlines, everything that's going on, so that way you can get caught up, and then I'll just break it up into video sections so you can see the specific ones if that works out better for people. I see a lot of people dropping those ones. I see a couple people putting those 2s, but we'll see. This might be the new format for the channel to make sure that you can stay up to date on everything, though, because I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of everything that's taking place. And again, do me a favor if you haven't done so yet. I see that we've got 2,900 people almost with me live. Please take a second, hit the like button. Help spread this out further across the YouTube platform so more people can get the latest updates. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything. And as always, all of these articles are going to be linked down in the description below, so that way you can click the articles, go read them for yourself, see it is the latest. And yes, I will continue to give you updates on nuclear threats and warnings coming out, so you know everything that's going on, because we have conflict in the Middle East, conflict with Russia and China, nuclear warnings coming out from FEMA here in the United States and around the world. World War III is being vocalized. We also have people pouring into our southern borders, concerns of attacks on U.S. soil, and we are in the middle of a transition of power right now. So a lot taking place, and I will keep you up to speed every step of the way on the global conflicts, the politics, all the latest news, so you know exactly what is taking place. And in addition to that, if you want to prepare, as I mentioned, right now is the time. It is Cyber Monday. I've got links down in the description. You can click those Amazon links, and they're affiliate links. You can go ahead and try to access things. If you want to stock up, right now is a great time. Those are available for you, as well as along with other resources, power grid failure guides, additional medications for people that might need it. Tons of stuff linked in the description, trying to provide all the resources to the community. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your support. I will continue to keep you guys up to speed on everything. Thank you so much. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.